Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We live in a time where information is everywhere, seriously. It's overwhelming, but real peace? That's rare. Every single day, it feels like the world reminds us of what we don't have, the promotions we haven't earned yet, the dream house still out of reach, the life we think we're supposed to be living. In all that noise, gratitude, real, grounded gratitude, tends to get pushed into the background. But if you're someone who's trying to live with more intention, like a Stoic, gratitude isn't just a polite, thank you, you toss around. It's a way of life. It's a deliberate practice. Gratitude is what snaps you out of that scarcity mindset and realigns you with a feeling of true abundance. When we shift our thinking from, I don't have enough, to, wow, look at what I do have, the entire way we experience life changes. Suddenly, we're not just hustling and begging for scraps of happiness. We're standing still, aware of how much we're already surrounded by. And that, my friends, changes everything. Think about it. Taking a moment to appreciate a quiet morning, a glass of cold water, or just the comfort of a memory. That's a small rebellion against the constant negativity bombarding us every day. It's a reminder that you already have more than you think. And when you really feel that, your biggest dreams don't seem so far away. They actually start moving toward you. In today's video, I want to dive into 9 things, big and small, that we should all take a minute to appreciate. Sometimes, it's through gratitude that the things we've been chasing finally find their way into our lives. Let's get into it. Number 1. The power of gratitude. Ever feel like life's just an endless treadmill? You're running, pushing yourself to the max, but the finish line keeps moving further away? Or maybe you wake up and before your feet even hit the floor, your mind's already racing, thinking about everything you don't have, everything you haven't achieved. If that sounds familiar, maybe it's time to hit pause. Take a deep breath, and come back to something deceptively simple but incredibly powerful: gratitude. Now, don't get me wrong, gratitude doesn't mean giving up on ambition. It doesn't mean tossing your dreams out the window. In fact, gratitude fuels ambition in the right way. It changes the way you see the world. Instead of obsessing over what's missing, you begin to truly notice what's right in front of you. Gratitude anchors you in the present moment. Instead of being driven by what you lack, you're filled with a sense of sufficiency. And that shift is where the real magic happens. When you start appreciating the simple things, a good friend's support, a roof over your head, a sunny afternoon, you start feeling connected to the world around you. You're no longer wandering aimlessly, feeling small and insignificant. You belong here. And that sense of belonging? It's the foundation for bigger things like integrity, patience, compassion, and courage. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and legendary Stoic philosopher, knew this better than anyone. He started his personal journal, Meditations, not with complaints about war or plague, but with a list of people and things he was grateful for: his parents, his teachers, his friends, even the soldiers who fought beside him. In the middle of absolute chaos, he chose to start with gratitude. And here's the good news: you don't have to be an emperor to do the same. Just pause, look around, realize that what you have today, maybe a stable job, a relationship, or just a peaceful moment, was once something you prayed for. Thank it. Thank yourself for making it this far. When you live from that place of gratitude, you stop operating out of fear and scarcity. Instead, you move from a place of calm, a place of fullness. And decisions made from that mindset? They're smarter, they're clearer, they're less reactive. So let's try something right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think of 3 things you're grateful for today. Big or small, doesn't matter. Feel it, see it, really sit with it. Congratulations. You've just taken the first step toward living a life where you're not chasing happiness. Happiness is finding you. Number 2. Set a good intention. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, once said that his goal wasn't to sell millions of books. It wasn't even to hit bestseller lists. His only goal? Write 2 good pages a day. That's it. He wasn't obsessed with the outcome. He focused on the process. And that mindset, that quiet, steady commitment, led him to unbelievable success. Now, this might sound modern and trendy, but honestly, it's straight out of the Stoic playbook. See, Stoics don't set intentions to attract things or to bend the universe to their will. They set intentions to live rightly, to align with the natural, rational order of the world. They're not sitting around saying, "The universe will give me everything I desire." Instead, they're asking, "How can I live today in a way that I'll be proud of, whether or not I get what I want?" They focus on what's within their control, their character. A Stoic doesn't write down goals like, "I will land my dream job," or "I will earn $1 billion." Instead, they ask, "Can I be more patient today? Can I act with integrity when no one's watching? Can I stay calm when everything around me is going crazy?" It's about setting intentions not to get something, but to become someone. When you do that, you stop playing life like it's a lottery you're hoping to win. You're not begging the universe to grant your wishes. You're simply living in harmony with it. And here's the kicker: when you align yourself with that mindset, you don't need to force results. They'll come, or they won't. Either way, you're still standing tall. So the next time you're tempted to ask, "How do I get what I want?" flip the script. Ask, "How should I live today to be worthy of what I want?" Or even better, to surpass it. This isn't abstract philosophy. It's the rock-solid foundation for every sustainable habit, every real transformation. When you set your daily focus on who you're becoming rather than what you're getting, life feels less like a game of chance and more like a path you're building, brick by brick. And if you're wondering where to begin, you guessed it, start with gratitude. But not the kind you rush through or fake. I'm talking about a conscious, daily practice. Stick around, because next, we're diving deeper into how to make gratitude not just a feeling, but a habit, the kind that can completely rewire your mind for the better. Number 3. Practice gratitude every day. Let's get real. Have you ever woken up and just felt like something was missing? Maybe it's time, maybe it's money, maybe it's that elusive motivation to keep going. Sometimes it's even harder, like losing faith in your dreams. You're not alone. Everyone hits those low points. But there's a different way to live, and it's so simple that most people overlook it: gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a polite, "Thanks," you toss out at dinner. It's a mindset, a habit, a way of life, and it can start with something incredibly small. Try this. Every morning, before you dive into emails or scroll through social media, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Doesn't have to be profound. It could be the way the morning light spills through your window, the coffee you're about to sip, or even just the fact that you woke up breathing. Arianna Huffington, the founder of the Huffington Post, has shared that she starts every single day by listing 3 things she's grateful for. Some days, she says, all she could muster was, "I'm still alive." And you know what? That's enough. That's where the magic starts, with what you already have. Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself. In your way of thinking. See, gratitude doesn't come from having everything. It comes from noticing what's already there. And when you do that, you start to tune your mind into a different frequency, a frequency of contentment, appreciation, and openness. And here's the really cool part. The universe tends to mirror back the energy you send out. Live in gratitude, and you start to see more things to be grateful for. No, you don't have to do anything fancy. You don't need a perfect journal or a 2-hour meditation routine. Just sit still, be honest, write it down or simply say it in your mind. That simple act of acknowledgement is powerful. And don't stop in the morning. Evenings are just as important. Before you crash into bed, take a few minutes to reflect. What went well today? What could you improve? What are you proud of yourself for? No judgment, no blame, just awareness. This is what the Stoics call becoming your own observer, stepping outside the chaos and looking at your day with clear, objective eyes. And trust me, when you do this consistently, your life will start to shift in subtle but powerful ways. You'll become calmer, more grounded, less reactive, more intentional. Try it for 7 days. Morning gratitude, evening reflection, and just notice the difference. Not just in your outer world, but in the way you feel inside. And hey, if you already have a gratitude or reflection practice, drop it in the comments. You never know. Your little routine might be exactly the inspiration someone else needs. Number 4. Cultivate a gratitude mindset. Here's a hard question. What's the one thing you think you still need to be happy? A better job? A bigger bank account? The perfect partner? Maybe you're telling yourself, once I get that, then I'll feel grateful. But let's flip that. Imagine waking up tomorrow and suddenly losing your ability to hear. No more music, no more laughter, no more voices of the people you love. Or imagine losing someone important to you, without getting the chance to say, thank you, or I love you. Just thinking about that shifts your perspective, doesn't it? This is what the Stoics call negative visualization, one of their most powerful tools. By imagining the loss of what we take for granted, we wake up to the beauty of what we already have. Suddenly, the job you complain about feels like a gift. The friend you haven't called back becomes a treasure. Even the traffic jam might seem a little less terrible when you realize, hey, I have a car, I get to drive. Modern life constantly pushes us to chase more, faster, better. But Stoic philosophy? It reminds us that we don't need more to feel grateful. We just need to see differently. Stoicism doesn't pretend life is easy. It doesn't ask you to fake happiness or ignore suffering. It tells you, face it head on. Build resilience. Practice patience. Grow. The Stoics even have a phrase for this mindset. Amor fati, love your fate. Not because every moment is amazing, but because every moment is shaping you into the person you're meant to become. Failures? They're not roadblocks. They're training grounds. Setbacks? They're part of the curriculum. Even sadness has its place. Even loss teaches you something. Tim Ferriss, one of today's top thinkers and authors, practices something called fear setting, basically writing out his worst-case scenarios to see if they're really as bad as they seem. And what he's found, most of the time, what we fear isn't nearly as devastating as we think. Plus, it reminds him of everything he already has. You can do the same. Imagine losing what you currently take for granted, your job, your health, your relationships. It's uncomfortable, yeah, but it wakes you up. It reminds you that everything you're wishing for in the future, it's nothing compared to what you already hold in your hands right now. Gratitude isn't passive, it's active, it's powerful, it's the frequency you choose to live on. When you consistently live in that frequency, you're not out there hustling to grab life's blessings. You're radiating a kind of calm readiness that draws the right things toward you. And if you're still breathing, still thinking, still listening to this right now, you've already got so much to be thankful for. So pause, take a deep breath, and whisper it, thank you. Not because life is perfect, but because you're still here, still standing, still growing. Number 5. Live in harmony with nature. Let's switch gears a little. What does it really mean to live in harmony with nature? No, it doesn't mean you have to sell your stuff and move to the woods. It's not about escaping modern life. In Stoic philosophy, living in harmony with nature means flowing with life, not fighting it. It's about understanding that you can't control everything. You can't control how people treat you. You can't control whether your plans succeed or fail. But you can always control one thing, your response. That's your power, your words, your actions, your mindset. Life will throw its punches. People will misunderstand you. Circumstances will shift without warning. But inside all of that chaos, you have a place of stillness, if you're willing to find it. One practice? Watch yourself. Observe your emotions instead of being swept away by them. When anger flares up, notice it. When sadness rolls in, sit with it. No judgment, just presence. Psychologist Marsha Linehan teaches her clients to simply watch their breath when emotions overwhelm them. Not to push feelings away, but to stay anchored. Same principle. This isn't about pretending life is all sunshine. It's about remembering that even in the darkest moments, there's a quiet place inside you that the chaos can't touch. Living in harmony with nature means accepting that not everything will go your way. And that's okay, because you still get to choose how you show up. When you let go of resistance, when you stop clinging to how you think life should be, that's when real peace starts to seep in. You stop wrestling with the weather, with outcomes, with people's opinions. You start living in the flow. Breathing in, breathing out, calm, steady, grounded. Even just practicing that for a few minutes a day, a little morning reflection, a little evening gratitude, can shift your entire inner world. Over time, it's like a lake growing still. And one day, you look into the water and see your reflection clearly, steady, calm, whole. Number 6. Turn philosophy into habit. You've probably heard of Ryan Holiday, right? Author of The Daily Stoic. Well, every morning before he sits down to write, he has a note taped in front of him that says, "The obstacle is the way." See, Ryan isn't just someone who reads about Stoicism, he lives it. Every single day. And that's the difference between people who make real change and those who just talk about it. Stoicism isn't about throwing around a few wise quotes or watching a motivating video and moving on. It's a practice, a daily commitment, a way of weaving philosophy into the very fabric of your life. One of the simplest ways to start? Practice gratitude and kindness in your everyday life. When you thank someone for holding the door or you send a quick, thinking of you, text to a friend, that's not just good manners. That's practicing virtue. In Stoic terms, it's called justice and kindness. And you don't wait to feel like being good or kind. You just do it, and the feelings catch up later. But how do you keep this mindset alive in a world that's so chaotic and noisy? Simple. Turn your reminders into warnings. Forget the vision board with yachts and mansions. Try this instead. Tape a quote from Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus near your bed or your bathroom mirror. Let it be the first thing you see when you wake up. Not to decorate your wall, but to direct your day. These aren't just words, they're anchors. They pull you back to what matters. They remind you not to waste time. Not to chase after things you can't control. Not to be distracted by every little drama. And just like an athlete keeps their body strong through daily workouts, you keep your mind strong with daily rituals. In the morning, close your eyes for a few minutes. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, who am I likely to meet today? How will I respond to things not going my way? That's your mental warm-up. At night, instead of scrolling through your phone, grab a journal and reflect. Did I live rationally today? Did I act in a way I'm proud of? What's one thing I can improve tomorrow? These small actions, they build discipline, they build character. Nobody becomes calm, strong, and wise by accident. It's daily work. You don't have to read all the Stoic texts in the world. Start with one thank you, one kind gesture, one sticky note with the right words at the right time. Little by little, it becomes your rhythm, your default setting, and before you know it, Stoicism isn't something you practice, it's just who you are. And when you live that way, the right things find you. The right people show up. Not because of some magical pull, but because you've become the kind of person ready to receive them. Number 7. Reinforce and spread gratitude. There's a powerful quote from Epictetus. Be silent as to services you have rendered, but speak of favors you have received. In other words, don't brag about the good you've done. Focus on the good you've been given. Gratitude isn't about manipulating the universe into giving you more. It's a moral choice, a way of living rightly. When you thank someone, when you help without expecting anything in return, when you forgive, those small acts ripple outwards. They make the world a little less chaotic, a little more kind. And here's the thing. When you look back at your journey, you'll notice something. Maybe you don't react as harshly as you used to. Maybe you've learned to stay calm in the face of uncertainty. Maybe you're not chasing validation anymore, because you're finding contentment within. Those shifts, they don't make headlines, but they are massive victories. And right there, that's when you have to double down. Because sometimes the hardest part isn't starting the journey, it's staying on it when the results aren't obvious. Don't let the slow progress fool you. Every small, right choice you make is laying the foundation for future breakthroughs. Think of it like planting seeds. You can't see what's happening underground, but trust, growth is happening. So every day, make the choice. Act justly, even if no one sees. Stay kind, even when it's hard. Trust the process, even without proof. You don't have to shout to be heard by the universe. You just have to live rightly. Every small thank you, every quiet forgiveness, every moment of patience, these are your building blocks. You're not just visualizing what you want. You're living as though you already have enough. And because of that, you do. Number 8. When adversity comes. Let's be honest, life's not always easy. When adversity strikes, you've got a few options. Fight it. Blame everyone else. Collapse under the weight of it. Or, you can choose the Stoic path. See adversity as training. Not punishment. Not failure. Training. The next time life punches you in the gut, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what virtue is this challenge helping me develop? Courage? Patience? Humility? There will always be things beyond your control. And yes, that can be frustrating, but Stoicism, and faith, adds a layer of trust. What if this setback isn't random? What if it's shaping you? Fire tests gold. Hardship tests the heart. Even some of the world's greatest athletes, like Simone Biles, journal not about winning medals, but about practicing virtues, courage, discipline, resilience. And here's something to remember. Sometimes, God doesn't give us comfort. He gives us strength. When one door closes, it's not rejection, it's redirection. When people leave, maybe it's time you learned to stand on your own. When you break down and cry, maybe that's where you discover your deepest reservoir of strength. Gratitude isn't just for the easy days. Real gratitude is when you can say, thank you, even in the storm. Not because you understand it, but because you trust it's all part of the plan. The loved ones still with you. The roof over your head. The air you're breathing, these are gifts. God didn't promise a life without pain. He promised you wouldn't walk through it alone. And when you hold on to gratitude, even in darkness, fear loosens its grip. You start to see, this too is part of the greater story being written for you. Number 9. Keep going. There are 2 core Stoic principles that, if you really internalize them, will change your life. Amor fati. Love your fate. Memento mori. Remember you must die. Amor fati tells you to embrace everything, the good and the brutal, as part of your path. Memento mori reminds you that life is short. Every day is a gift. When you live with both of these mindsets, you realize, not everything you hope for will arrive on your timeline. But that's okay. What's meant to come will come. In the meantime, you keep going. It's not about forcing the universe into giving you what you want. It's about who you become while you wait. Gratitude for what you have. Persistence even when it's hard. That's real greatness. When Oliver Sacks, the brilliant neurologist, found out he was dying of cancer, his response wasn't despair, it was gratitude. He wrote an essay called My Own Life, thanking the people he loved, the lessons he learned, even death itself for giving him clarity. That's amor fati. Standing firm in the storm, not because the storm is easy, but because you're rooted deep. You don't know what tomorrow holds, but you know you're alive today. And that's enough reason to keep going. Keep going, not because you're guaranteed success. Keep going, because you're strong enough to handle whatever comes. Every day you live with gratitude. Every step you take in trust, you're winning. Not later, right now. Life's not a negotiation, it's a test of your attitude. Like a tree standing tall in the wind, not because the wind stops, but because its roots have grown deeper after every storm. So breathe, be grateful, and keep going, because continuing in gratitude, that's already the reward. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stick around. The next video is right there on the end screen, waiting to take you even deeper into the journey.